Alrighty guys, now I want to take a look at the other area. And we gotta be careful in the other area for a few reasons. This area has a couple new things going on that we have to be careful to not step on. So let's just get a look at these trees now. First of all, this tree, it's got a different growth habit this year than it had the last year. Last year, it had huge, massive leaves, kind of like this tree does now, because it was in severe growth phase. But this year, it's actually down to pretty normal sized, even smaller than typical sized leaves, which gives it a different appearance versus like this tree here to this tree here. It is filling in though. It just took a little longer than the rest. Probably because it was growing so vigorously, it had to take a little rest. But you can see it's putting on a severe amount of growth already, which is real nice. And the bottom trunk is so thick. Look at the bottom of the trunk here. Look at that. I mean, you can put your whole hand around it. And, it's a thick trunk there. An amazing one. So we can see the first year of growth was probably from the bottom here all the way up to probably right about here. So if I'm pointing at that, all the way down, that was 1 year. And then just last year, it grew from there up. And so this year we'll see how much it does grow and make a difference. But if we take a look back at this one as of June 11th, look at how nice it is, especially from this angle here. And we're overcast, but it's a perfect time to get out and do these videos and just get outside because that fresh smell, it's cool, very cool, actually really nice temperature, and it smells just amazing. There's that tree there. Look at perfect design, large, thick trunk coming out of a base right there in the ground. Very thick. Really thick, especially from right here. If you look at that, just look at how thick it is. And this was not but a sucker back last spring. It was just thin. It was just probably like this. And the year before that, there was nothing. But then that was probably like this, and it grew like that much. Probably that year, and we'll see. Maybe it'll probably grow about that much this year. Couldn't imagine it growing as much, but it'll still probably get thicker. So this one's a real crazy. It still wants to sucker around the base here, and you can see what the size of some of these were. They're just little small suckers. And then 1 year later, this thing plows through it. So these I'm gonna let grow until the fall. I'll cut them back then. It'll probably just shroud the bottom, but they're not gonna cause an issue. I'm just not gonna let anything near the tree grow. And then these will be cut back in fall to clean the area. And so yeah, this could be crazy. I just want to see what happens if I let that grow. It's going to be able to grow for probably another 7 years, 6 or 7 years, before it starts causing issues with the power line, so that it'll have to be cut. And then I'll just stump it, and then it'll regrow again, and we can repeat the cycle over again. That's how aspen trees are. So it's kind of just, it's an amazing tree. Put on tons of growth. Now, we can take a look from the back here at this large aspen. Blowing in the wind there on this nice, cool, wet, rainy day. Very green, growing considerably each year. It is actually, honestly, probably becoming one of the leading trees in the system. Right now, I would think that one is. This one used to be, but it's not doing well. So I'm sure this one is right. I gotta be careful where I step. There is something I want to show you guys later. That one's probably the leading tree of the system. And this one, I'm guessing, is going to very soon overtake it because it's actually starting to die too. How aspens work, man. They grow and then they start to die out. So this one will experience the same thing. All of them do. But it's just an amazing tree. And you have so many years, 100 years to enjoy them before they do start doing that. So it's an amazing thing. Here, now we have the spruce tree. This was the one I was talking about. If you go watch my video over there, I don't know what one posted first when I upload this, but I did post one either before or after the yard update, and I was talking about this one. This one here actually came out of the yard, and it was definitely, it put on this much growth a year. So it was just an amazing amount of growth. But it unfortunately needed to be moved out of the area. And last year, it just produced this much growth. I don't even think it'll produce near that this year. It's in severe shock, severe stress, on the verge of dying. But I did notice it's producing its first ever pine cone. If you take a look at that there, I can get my phone in there. Look at that, that's a spruce cone. So if we can let that keep going, I can take my first spruce cone from the tree here. That'd be amazing. If it'll even make it, I don't know. I hope it will. If it can, it's slow growing, man. When I show you how stressed it is, let me show you that. So a little bit of new growth on the tree, like that. It's about all there is. It's that little teeny bit of growth. I mean, we've got slight growth right there. Little like galls forming all over from bugs, which is a good sign. It shows the tree's responding to stuff and growing things. If it's severely dead, it ain't gonna grow a gall because an animal bit it. No, it isn't gonna. So it's actually producing those, but it's not really growing much. See, the bud's ready to swell right up here. It's windy. The pine cone is the major thing, and look how small it is. Just a little bud. Well, if we go over to a healthy spruce and what this one was, and take a look at what the same spruce, a pine cone would look like. Here's the galls on these spruce. And look at the pine cones. This is a mast here, so my little spruce here probably detected two things. One, severe stress, needing to reproduce before it actually dies. These ones are still too small to even think about it. This one's stressed too, but it's going 3 summers now. But this one here is probably thinking, well, shoot, I better hurry up and reproduce here before I die, because it senses it's probably going to die. But I'm watering it still, trying to keep it going. But these, it's just a mast here, so they're just producing large cones. You can see these are large, much larger, and they are producing new growth and a lot of galls. From little, what are they? Little bugs that go in there and start sucking all the sap out. It produces the tree to do that. So that's the spruces. They're kind of doing their thing. You see the area's watered. We have a lot of weeds growing underneath them. It's merged in kind of with the ground of the area now. Just a little bit different. It's actually healthier soil there than the rest of the area. But it is merging in pretty nice. And definitely firm. You can actually walk over it now. I don't do that, but you can do that. If we take a look at the area back here, see, we just have a lot of crap going on, which is really nice. I just don't ever touch this. Kind of just let it do its own thing each year. We've got what looks to be, I don't know, neighbor's tree. It's pretty cool. It's a big leafed, fast-growing structure. It's probably from that tree over there. Could be a Canada Red. And then you can see we got all this stuff growing. It's really nice, like grass. A couple of weeds, I think, actually, but they're coming out of us like a trunk. So they keep coming back every year. And then another one coming out of a trunk there. Very upright down stems. And a couple of aspens back here. Ooh, another sucker right here. I don't know how ideal of a location that's in. No, not very. But it might not be an aspen, actually. Never mind. But these are. So nice aspens here. So we got that one. And we have this one coming out of a single stalk that was cut right here with very vigorous growth. Very, very vigorous. So these ones are pretty nice. And little suckers around here, kind of just slow. These might turn into a bush if they keep going. That'll be the goal. And there's Cooper. He snuck out of the fence. So just got him back in the yard. Huh, Coop? Anyway, the area. Now let's take a look at these aspen trees and kind of the surrounding area. So right here, we've got one, there's like 4 or 5, I pulled it to just one. This can come up, it's still not an ideal location, I can turn it into another stub. This stub had a crap ton of produced growth. But I came back 5 minutes later and it was all gone. I think a rabbit or something came through and grazed it or ate off of it. But this can become another stub, so these two will produce growth. Because it grows into a tree and then it gets up to the top of this one, and then I don't want it to hurt this big tree because it's pretty nice, so I have to make sure I keep them low in that area. That's when we get to this little, or let's just cover that one last. This was the project I did where it kind of got snapped, so I cut it and then it grew a bunch of crazy stuff. I didn't know what I wanted to do with the tree, and it had a bunch of stuff. You can see now how the trunk has all these cut marks on it because of what it produced. Well, now, out of all those, I left one stem. Now, here's the trunk thickening stuff I want to tell you about. This is what it originally looked like. So this is what the trunk of the tree, when I cut these and left them so I could kind of compare this. See, it's a pretty thin thing. And this actually came off this one right here. So if you look up, that's what it looks like. They would have already been competing. But it came off this one right here. You can see this is exactly how it was attached. And it kind of goes like that. But look at the size difference now in the two already. This one here is a very large already stem. And this one here, look how much smaller it is. And this is just the beginning of the season. So the thickening of the stems is a crazy thing. And I've got a few. This is another one. It was even smaller. It was a mini stem. Look at that one. I think this one here was more like that one, but they're all pretty thin. And now it's quite a bit thick. Coming out of a perfect area, straight up out of the tree, so it was a perfect stem. And this hopefully will start to get so large it'll start to kind of graft back into the main part here. And he's out again, you guys, that dog. In the yard! What is he doing? But in that area. So, this is growing really nice now. And that's going to be a lot better. This looks like a crazy situation right now. But once that grows and becomes established enough, I can start letting other branches grow. I just don't want to yet because I don't want it to take away the energy from that. That's the main part of the tree. So I need to ensure that stays good. Anyway, I had to put the dog in the yard again. Didn't want him to get run over. And we got that tree. We got this one. Look at the nice large structure of that one on the one stem. It's a very heavy one, so it does take quite a bit. And now back to the mastier part of this and the perfect growing conditions for everything and the sproutationing trees all over the area. So a perfect ideal spot for a tree would be in this area, a little bit out from these two, kind of in a perfect triangle shape is what I was always thinking. And then yesterday I come out here in a perfect triangle shape from these trees right here. Sits a stem. Look at this. Looks like a vigorous one too. I'd hope it is one of the fastest growing possible ones. Because if it isn't, and they're up to only here in height or about even here, then they severely risk dying over the winter. Snow, non-visibility. So where I typically like them is almost up to here on me, really high, and that usually happens with the vigorous ones. And then they're safe throughout the season. Still, that first winter, they're at most risk, especially out here in the open. But I can probably find a way to cover this off, and I need to do that with this now. So I know dogs are not running over it because their neighbors' dogs come out here sometimes, or animals eat it. But it's gonna be a nice one. That's the beginning of something, guys, that could be a tree in this area, and I'll keep you guys updated on it. It definitely could be a tree soon. So let's take a good look at it. We've got buds coming out, a small red stem indicating high activity in the plant. And the original leaf blooms, the very hard leaf blooms that always come out when it first sprouts. So if we take a look at this closer, we can tell there is a root compound right there. Right on the ground, you can see this little structure, this little brown bottom piece is the actual root sending up the shoot that'll become into a tree. So if that does, the roots beneath it's going to strengthen quite a bit as it grows. It's got to survive to the end of the season to be fully safe. But really, probably only another month before, if it is one of the vigorous, fast-growing ones, it should be safe. But I don't have much protection available out here, so it's got to just do its thing. At least it's not way out here or something. And it's in a perfect location. So that's nice. And this one here is, like I said, it will not be in the perfect location. It'll be stumped again. But I do want it to grow. I want all of them to grow. Every single one of them to grow. So, and then if they're not in a good location, I'll just stump them down like that, and then they can still produce. And I'll let them grow for trees probably for many years. If it's right there, I could let it grow for 10 years, I bet. So we're gonna really favor letting all these grow. A little more yellow, looks a little less vigorous, but it should do something. If any of these can get any height more than these ones did, that proves to me they're ready to grow. We had a good one back here too, and the utility guys came through and they goddamn stomped on it. So that's what we got going there. But we'll just see what happens with the areas. They're all up right now, and I'm trying to be real careful over here, so we're gonna keep you updated on that. But there's the trees, and there's the update across the street. We'll probably update again on this July 1st, just like the yard. Oh, no, I'm not done yet. Sorry about that, guys. I forgot that one of the other parts. I got so interested in my other area. Over here, we've got the other trees. We've got this one. Look at that. This one had to be cut, and it's just out of control. I've been trying to control it, but it's growing. It doesn't want to quit growing. I'm gonna come through and prune the stump, the trunks today, I think, or later, and just clean that up. It's going nuts all over the tree again. So there's a good look at that. I did thin it out, but it's so crammed up there now, I don't think I'd be able to get a pruning shear up there. These are incredibly crazy trees. I almost wanted to let grow into a bush, so if it flipping grows normally, I think that's what I'm gonna do. Because it's a crazy one. These lilacs, they're gonna be not touched anymore. They're coming up really well. The bush over here that spawned has also been limbing out. With a weed approaching it too up here. I'll get these out of there. I don't want any competing areas or things kind of in the way there. But there's that little tree, and these. With this, the tree has to focus on getting all these up around the same time. Otherwise, bigger ones like this will shade them out and it'll be uneven. So it's doing pretty well at that. And as it continues to grow, the lower limbs start to lose the leaves as the branches get larger. So this one's coming up pretty nice. The grass around it is kind of shading it out, which I need to pull it. I might even try and work on some of that today. But you can see how far out it's spreading. I'm gonna try and leave these as much alone as I can, but usually it gets mowed down over here. But even over here, we got growth, and these were looking kind of stressed, so we've got growth. I gotta pull the grass out, give it the best chance it can get, because the tops, the old trees were dying. I cut them back, now the tops are too, so we gotta let that growth come. This one here, I'm gonna let do its thing completely. It did not grow too well last year around the base, so I'm gonna let it do its thing this year. That one took off though, so pretty nice there. But the grass, you can see these bushes had grass up to the top. They'd wrap around the stems. This is a wet area, so you need to keep up on the grass around the area. You can't weed eat or you'll kill all the stems. You kind of just gotta pull and hope it kind of comes out easy, but this stuff doesn't. You pull and it just snaps. Some of it does, but not very well, so you kind of just pull, and that'll help allow sunlight in, but you can't do too much else. But there's this, and so yeah, it's pretty much the area. Let's get a good look at these. Sometimes I talk so much I don't show. Just see the grass under that one, and the nice tree, and then the tree, and the growth, which is really nice. So yeah, the mower here, which I got the key for on my key. Put it in here. We'll do another mowing. I gotta put my foot on this thing. We'll do another mowing soon. It's running there. Take the key out of there. It's like that. So, yeah, there's the area. We'll see you guys in the next one. I'm gonna get to work.